From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and these are your headlines on this November the 17th.
The numbers that we are seeing most recently on the state's dashboard and the Regenstrief dashboard are frightening.
COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. This morning, we talked to a data expert about those numbers and what can be done to address the surge.
More promising news in the race to find a coronavirus vaccine. This morning, the latest breakthrough from Moderna.
As many businesses are shutting their doors amid the pandemic, one local restaurant is thriving. How Tam's Cafe is bringing in new customers by taking them down memory lane.
And here at 5:01, I want to thank you for joining our team on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey and Rafael Sanchez. It is great to have you back after a little staycation. Yeah, you deserved a little bit of time off, so it's great to have you.
It's good to be back with you and Todd. Of course, the weather is a little wacky, but hey, Todd, as I promised you back in June, I think, I am not going to complain as it gets colder.
You know, we have a couple cool days here, but we have some warmer days in the forecast as well. So I think there's a little bit of everything in this forecast, unless you're a summer lover. Obviously, we don't have that kind of heat in our forecast here at the end of November, but we'll show you that 7-day planning forecast in just a few minutes in Maine weather. Let's get you out the door first, though, as we start off at this Tuesday morning. And temperatures range from 37 in Indy to 40 in Bloomington. You notice the winds, both the wind direction out of the northwest, which is probably more important to the forecast than the actual wind speeds, although it is a little breezy here in Indy still with the wind out of the northwest at 16 miles per hour. But it's that northwesterly wind that's going to prevent us from warming a whole lot here throughout the day today. These are your real field temperatures, your wind chill values. Feels like 28 right now in Lafayette, 34 in Bloomington, 28 is what it feels like in Indy. The good news is, with the exception just a little bit of cloud cover here to the north, skies are mainly clear this morning throughout the day today. Nothing sunshine, but again, you need to bundle up a little bit as it remains chilly. Only 39 degrees by the noon hour with high temperatures today, Lauren, topping off only in the low 40s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. Here's I-70 and Sherman Drive. You can see traffic there is traveling smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. No delays to slow you down. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on your roads throughout the morning. We'll let you know if there are any trouble spots you should avoid. It is 5:02 this morning. Indiana has added another 5,218 positive COVID-19 cases. That's down more than 1,600 cases from the previous day and the lowest number of cases reported in a single day since Wednesday of last week. So far, 256,744 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The 7-day positivity rate is at 11.7%. State health officials also report an additional 26 Hoosier deaths with COVID-19. So far this month, 592 Hoosiers have died with the coronavirus. This is currently the second deadliest month since July. Since the pandemic began, 4,686 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. As the number of coronavirus cases continues to rise, we're keeping a close eye on hospital resources for you. As of this morning, more than 2,700 people across the state are hospitalized with a COVID diagnosis or a suspected diagnosis. Currently, just over 26% of the ICU beds are available. 75% of the state's ventilators are available for use.
This morning, let's take you west of Indianapolis to Vigo County, where officials there are telling us they've rented 4 refrigerated semi-trailers to store bodies of deceased COVID-19 patients. Vigo County is currently in the orange level with a 7-day positivity rate of 9.99%. County officials say some funeral homes in the area are already becoming, quote, overrun with bodies if there are not enough spaces or places to put them. They also say hospitals and hospital staff have become overwhelmed.
We have to have some place for mass casualties to go, and this is one of those situations that's going to get worse before it gets better.
And as many of you know, the hospitals are already pretty much at capacity. The headline in the newspaper today, Union Hospital busting at the seams. We have friends at Union Hospital. The employees are stressed out. They're trying to get additional employees. They're trying to get people to help them to help reduce the fatigue. This is overwhelming the community as a whole.
County officials are pleading with the community to take coronavirus precautions seriously by wearing masks, avoiding social gatherings, and maintaining social distancing.
A COVID-19 data expert calls Indiana's latest case and hospitalization numbers, quote, frightening. Dr. Brian Dixon is the director of public health informatics at the Regenstrief Institute here in Indianapolis, which helps advise state health officials.
This increase, this trend in new cases really began back in late September and have just carried through till now. So we've seen no signs of decline over the last several weeks. And Indiana, along with other states in the Midwest, and of course the U.S. as a whole, is on what many are calling an exponential growth path, which means if we don't act, then we will continue to see numbers go even higher.
Dr. Dixon is also a professor with the IU Fairbanks School of Public Health. He says the increase in cases is not a result of increased testing, but rather COVID-19 is rapidly spreading throughout our community. Dixon says if you take a group of 10 people, up to 2 of them are likely to have the virus or have already had it.
We're seeing positivity well over 10%, and we're seeing positivity increase about 1% every few days. And that means that there's a lot more cases out in the community, and there's a high level of community spread happening, and it's happening in almost every county of the state. So this tells us that the virus is just sort of running rampant through the population.
Well, Dr. Dixon says that state leaders need to consider imposing restrictions that will make an impact on rising cases and hospitalizations. He recommends families limit their holiday gatherings to small groups or just immediate family.
Lauren, for the second straight week, promising news about a possible COVID-19 vaccine. Moderna says that its vaccine could be 94.5% effective against the virus. This follows last week's news from Pfizer, whose vaccine, which is reportedly up to 90% effective. Both companies say these results are based from an early analysis of their phase 3 clinical trials. Moderna and Pfizer are not ready to roll out their respective vaccines. They must first ask the FDA for emergency use authorization. That would allow the vaccine to be distributed to higher risk groups first. Both companies hope that could happen by the end of this month or possibly early December.
Raphael, it is 5:07. As many businesses and restaurants are closing their doors amid this pandemic, a new restaurant in Marion County is thriving, bringing homemade food to a small town. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning to explain how it's also taking some patrons down memory lane. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So we're here at Tam's Cafe, and they opened in August, again, amid that pandemic, and they said they've been thriving so far. But not only that this is now a cafe, it also used to be a home. So we talked to Bonnie Reynolds, and she says she lived here over 50 years ago. We met with Bonnie in her what used to be her spare bedroom. She tells me she got married in the church across the street in 1963, and while she lived here, her and her friends considered it the Grand Central Station of Oaklandon Road, always the place to hang out. Now, Tammy Cunningham is hoping Tam's Cafe will be the next hangout spot to be in this house's history.
It was just very, very neat to walk into it and have not been here since that time. And it really looks the same. They've painted and done a few changes, but it just brought back a lot of good old memories.
Reynolds brought old photos of her former home to show Cunningham, and Cunningham says the goal of this quaint restaurant is to make it feel like you're having a comfortable home-cooked meal at your aunt's house. Now, Cunningham says amid the pandemic, business has been good, but they are prepared if another shutdown is in our future. She says they are now offering online orders for pickup, hoping that people will utilize it. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. As many Hoosiers continue to struggle during this pandemic, here at WRTV, Hiring Hoosiers is committed every single day to connecting you to jobs that are available right now. So here are a couple of these in our jobs feed this morning. This morning, the company known for its eye-catching car vending machines is hiring Hoosiers. Carvana is hosting a 3-day job fair starting today. It's looking to fill a variety of positions at the company's Greenfield Vehicle Inspection Center. You can learn more and participate in an interview at the center on F.W. Marks Drive from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. today, Wednesday, or Thursday. You can find full details about the event on hiringhoosiers.com. Indie Hanger and Supply is also looking to hire Hoosiers. They want to help people and make sure that they can join the team that can pack wire hangers into boxes. A pay starts at $10.50 an hour plus incentives, so keep that in mind. You can find even more employment opportunities through the job board. Of course, Petco on 96th Street in Fishers has many open positions. They need a pet stylist, a companion animal leader, a grooming salon leader, among other jobs available. And you can find all of these employment offers right now through the job board on hiringhoosiers.com and through the Hiring Hoosiers Facebook page as well.
Well, Raphael, an annual effort that turns shoeboxes into gift boxes is underway. Operation Christmas Child collects shoeboxes filled with presents for kids all around the world. Donations are needed now more than ever this year due to the pandemic. If you'd like to help fill a shoebox with school supplies, hygiene items, toys, and what's considered a wow item like a soccer ball or even a stuffed animal.
You know, from a scarf to crayons, just having these items are just very precious. And we love when people get creative. And I have a lady and she made them. They're little girls' bags. You can put things in them. We have people who knit, who just use their God-given talents and are able to give back. And to have something that they've made with their hands is precious as well.
Well, shoebox collection has changed to curbside drop-off this year, and the collection runs through next Monday. For times and locations, go to WRTV.com and just click on that story. Todd, let's get a check of our bus stop forecast for the kids that are heading out to school right now.
Yeah, if you are heading to the bus stop, this obviously applies to you. If you're just working virtually from home, you can kind of use this as maybe forecast to send the kids outside to burn off a little bit of energy at times throughout the course of the day. 35 degrees if you're walking to the bus stop here this morning with clear skies, but there's a little bit of a wind out there, so that's making that 35 feel even a little bit cooler. And then all we could do for the high temperature today later on this afternoon is going to be 42 degrees. So it's a chilly day for us. It's going to be a bright day. I mentioned the wind. As the day progresses, you notice these wind speeds will start to diminish. That's the good news. Unfortunately, because of these northwesterly winds, that is why our temperatures won't moderate all that much. But one thing does happen starting tomorrow. These wind directions start to change. More of a southerly wind brings warmth back into the forecast. We'll talk about how mild it's going to get here across the area by the end of the week coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Indiana state lawmakers will head back to the State House today for Organization Day. Straight ahead, why the usually ceremonial event might be have more action today than in the years past.
And another devastating hurricane hits Central America. Coming up, the call for international aid as that region faces days and weeks now of rebuilding.
Welcome back. The time right now is 5:16. Today, Indiana state lawmakers will head back to the State House for the first time since the pandemic began.
And Lauren, today is known as Organization Day at the State House, and state lawmakers are making a long list of requests for new state programs and state laws. Let's begin with the Indiana Chamber of Commerce. They announced on Monday its legislative priorities for the 2021 session. They include several pandemic-related issues like liability protections for Hoosier businesses against COVID-19-related lawsuits.
Increasing incentives for attracting remote workers as well, expanding broadband access across the state, and improving digital economy and establishing a work-share program.
Work-share would give Indiana employers another tool in their toolbox to deal with and address downturns in the economy, such as the pandemic-induced recession that we've been going through currently. If we'd been a work-share state, we wouldn't have had as big a draw on our unemployment trust fund, and we wouldn't be borrowing as much money from the federal government as we are currently, as our UI trust fund has been totally depleted between the.
Well, another top agenda item for lawmakers addressing the turmoil that schools have faced from the coronavirus pandemic. Republican House Speaker Todd Huston said that helping students catch up will be a priority during the session that starts in January. Speaking of school, teachers plan to hold lawmakers accountable to that priority. Monday, the state's largest teachers organization, union held a press conference. They asked lawmakers to uphold the governor's promise not to reduce funding for public K-12 schools. They also expressed concerns over things like working conditions and compensation. These are just a few of the topics that were discussed at last year's Red for Ed demonstration. administration. And now with the pandemic, the challenges teachers face are greater than ever before.
You know, we've doubled and tripled the workload given to our educators, and we've given our teachers this impossible choice between, work outside of school for free or fail our students.
We are overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, questioned, and oftentimes blamed for things that are simply out of our control.
Members of the ISTA want to see things like a starting salary of at least $40,000 for teachers and restored bargaining rights on workload issues such as hours, prep time, and class size. At 5:18 this morning, Central American leaders are asking for help after Hurricane Iota made landfall on Monday. Nicaragua was again the hardest hit as the Category 4 storm battered the nation with winds of 155 miles per hour. The landfall happened near an area that's still recovering from the effects of Hurricane Eta. Monday, the presidents of Guatemala and Honduras called for international financial assistance to help cope with the devastating effects of climate change. They say their countries had had to bear the brunt of the economic responsibility, accumulating debt as they attempt to rebuild following repeated natural disasters. Back here at home, what can we expect for our forecast today on this Tuesday, Todd?
You know, it's going to be a bright day for us today, Lauren. That is the good news. It's just going to be a pretty quiet day of weather, and on the cool side, it's a little breezy here this morning. The wind will calm as the day goes on. That is the good news. But the headline is the below normal temperatures in the forecast for the day today. When you look at this temperature map and you see the temperatures are in the 30s and 40s, you think, it's not that bad. Our temperatures will warm with all that sunshine throughout the day today. The problem is we have that persistent northwesterly wind, so these temperatures are really not going to warm a whole lot throughout the course of the entire day. 37 right now in Indy, 40 in Bloomington, 36 from Tipton back towards the Lafayette area. Let me throw on the real feel temperatures for you. This is what it really feels like when you walk out the door when you factor in that wind. 28 in Lafayette as well as Indy as your wind chill value. Feels like 30 in Tipton. Richmond, you feel like you're 31 degrees, and 34 is the real feel temperature as you make your way down into the Bloomington area. The good news is the skies are clear though across the area, and as we work our way throughout the next couple hours, temperatures should continue to decrease a little bit, get down to right around freezing, and then just a slow climb throughout the afternoon hours. By 11 a.m. we're back up to right around 37 degrees. Now, we just missed out on some snow showers. Thankfully, they had some snow showers up near Fort Wayne. You can see a little more in the way of cloud cover this morning, still from Peru over towards the Muncie area. These snow showers will make their way over towards the Pittsburgh area, back to our west, so you see the clear skies, and that is the weather that we'll enjoy here throughout the course of the next couple days. As far as high temperatures today in your hometowns, we're looking at 44 in Lafayette, only about 39 though today in Marion, 41 in Anderson. As we slide down to the south, temperatures will only be in the mid 40s here from Indianapolis to Martinsville at 46 degrees. Then we slide down even further south and temperatures will be right around 46 in Bloomington as well as Seymour. Normal high this time of year, 52, so we're going to be well below that. This evening, once the sun sets, we cool off very quickly. In fact, by 9 p.m., we're down to right around the freezing mark, and then we'll continue to see those temperatures drop throughout the overnight hours, and you wake up tomorrow to temperatures that'll be in the low to mid 20s with wind chills likely in the teens. It's a real cold start to our day tomorrow, but with plenty of sunshine and the wind starting to change direction tomorrow, we get back up to right around 50 degrees. But the better news in this forecast is as we expand this out, Lauren, look at Thursday, 65 degrees. It's going to be warm, but it's going to be windy across the area, so prepare yourself for that. And then Raphael will keep those temperatures in the 60s as we go all the way through the weekend.
Come on, Thursday. I see you Thursday. In the meantime, it may be a little chilly this morning, but it may be a perfect day maybe to go out and see some nature. Coming up, we'll show you where you may want to hit those trails throughout central Indiana today. You're watching Good Morning right here on WRTV.
And Raphael, the Circle City could play host to the entire NCAA men's basketball tournament. What we know about the ongoing talks and what that could mean for Indianapolis. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So when someone tells you to take a hike, it's usually not in a nice way. I would never say that to Rafael Sanchez, except for today, because it's National Take a Hike Day.
Why not? It's a great day maybe to put on the jacket, right? Put on the scarf,
put on the jacket.
Some earmuffs. and go out and take a hike, as you said, Lauren, and enjoy the trails throughout central Indiana. But did you know that around the country, there are so many beautiful trails? There are about 60,000 in the U.S. National Trail System. Some are almost 200 years old and track the footsteps of explorers like Lewis and Clark. These footpaths can take you to cascading waterfalls and mountain summits, rock formations, dense forests, and everyday landscapes imaginable. There are even more trails when you consider those in our local and state parks right here in Indiana. So today, as Todd Clausen would tell you, go out and enjoy the Monon, or head out to Bloomington or Delphi or Franklin or Columbus. There's so many great trails right now, right here in central Indiana. Don't you think so, Todd?
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned the state parks, and I've tried to get to all the state parks. I haven't quite got there yet to all of them here across the state, but so many good trails here across central Indiana and really the entire state. So yeah, take advantage of the nice weather the next few days and get out there and enjoy. It's a little on the cool side today, but if you're hiking, you'll start to work up a little bit of a sweat as temperatures will start off chilly this morning, right around freezing. By the noon hour, 39 degrees, but plenty of sunshine here throughout the afternoon. High temperatures in the 40s. If it's a little chilly for you today, maybe you want to push that hike to later in the week when temperatures are in the 60s. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
More progress being made on COVID-19 vaccinations. Now at 5:30, a look at the latest steps being taken towards distribution.
Plus, the pandemic forcing a number of restaurants to close their doors. This morning, how a new restaurant is breaking the mold and is now thriving.
And we want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana here at 5:30 on this Tuesday. I'm Lauren Casey. Raphael, good morning to you down in Franklin.
Hey, Lauren.
You're back with us.
Good morning to you. And so I want to mention a couple of things. Since I'm working from home, right, we continue to social distance here at WRTV. So this is how my signal gets to you. This is my little box. As you can see, it has my name on it, Raphael. And on occasion, technology glitches. Todd Clausen, as you know, since you work with graphics and stuff there at the big wall, things happen. So on occasion, I may freeze, but it has nothing to do with the forecast, right? So I just want you to know that in case I freeze over the next 90 minutes, we're just working through some technology things as we work from home and we continue to be safe.
And if you freeze, you know, just like it warms up eventually and things melt, we'll get back to you,
right?
Here, Raphael. So don't worry about that. We'll find you. We know where to find you. So all right, outside right now, it is a little on the chilly side. We are sitting in the 30s right now. Sunglasses needed here from start to finish throughout the day today. You need the warm jacket as well. I checked the hat and gloves. Wind chills are down in the 20s in some locations. So especially if the kids do have to go out to the bus stop and they're out there for, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, you probably want to have the hat and gloves on them here this morning. Your actual temperatures range from 38 right now in Peru to 40 in Bloomington, 37 in Indianapolis. And as far as the cloud cover goes, there's a little bit of cloud cover here still to the north, but we missed out on those snow showers. Thankfully, they have pushed off towards the east. But just know if you are traveling up towards Fort Wayne or into portions of Ohio today, you may run into some of those snow showers. To the west, though, there's no issues at all, and that's the weather we will be inheriting here over the course of the next few days. So nothing but sunshine for us today, right around 39 degrees by the noon hour, with high temperatures today topping off right around 42 degrees. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. Up here on the northwest side, I-65 and I-865, traffic is traveling up to speed. Looks like all the barrels there, the orange barrels, are pulled out of the travel lanes and all lanes are open. Everything's traveling smoothly, so no issues there to slow you down. Let's take one more look from our INDOT traffic camera. This one's on the northeast side at I-465, a view near Pendleton Pike, where everything is moving along up to speed. No crashes to slow you down around the metro area at this early hour. Raphael?
So, Lauren, this could be an economic slam dunk for the Circle City. Indianapolis is under consideration to host the entire men's NCAA tournament. The association is in talks with the city and the state to potentially host the 68-team tournament in March and April. NCAA officials say it's clear that it's not possible to safely manage the complex tournament as normal in several different states. The committee is focused on finding a place that limits travel and has enough venues, hotels, and other resources.
Given that the Final Four is scheduled to be in Indianapolis, where it's been on a regular basis, where the NCA is headquartered, of course, and we've got really good working relationships and great support from the Hoosier State. We think that may be our best option if we can work out all the important details around competition venues, practice sites, hotel arrangements, medical resources that are all very available here in Indianapolis. So that's our hope, but we still have a long way to go to finalize all that.
In a statement, the mayor of Indianapolis says officials are confident that the city can rise to the challenge thanks to the collaboration of civic organizations and the strength of the hospitality industry, and that they look forward to continued conversations with the NCAA. We'll bring you the very latest updates on the WRTV app as soon as we learn more information.
Well, Raphael, many businesses and restaurants are closing up shop amid the pandemic, but we know this morning a new restaurant here in Marion County is actually thriving, bringing homemade food to a small town. Our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live to explain how it's also taking some patrons down memory lane. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So we're here at Tam's Cafe off of Oaklandon Road. They opened in August amid the pandemic, and since they've opened, business has been thriving. We spoke to Bonnie Reynolds, and she says she lived in this house 50 years ago. So when she came in here, she said all of those memories just came rushing back to her.
This was our first home. This was probably summer of '65.
Bonnie Reynolds tells me her and her husband moved into this home in 1963 after getting married in the church across the street.
When I first walked in here to have lunch with my daughter on her birthday, I looked around and it just brought back all kinds of memories. So I asked the lady, I said, can I just walk around and look in every room? And then I explained to her that I had lived here 57 years ago.
We're in what was once Reynolds' spare bedroom, now a place for diners to enjoy homemade breakfast and lunch.
That I wanted to do something smaller and quaint, and just a place where people felt like they were going to their aunt's to have lunch.
Keeping the original layout of the home, including the kitchen.
We built our menu around that. Knowing that it was going to be a very small space. So our menu is small, but it's bursting with lots of flavors.
Tammy Cunningham says hearing from customers like Bonnie reminds her why she chose to open her cafe in a small town.
We just love to see them come in and visit and tell us their story. How are you, sir? We're here to serve the community. We offer, a good customer service and great food. And we just want you to feel at home when you're here.
As for Reynolds, she says she's excited to bring her old friends back to visit the house she calls the old Grand Central Station of Oaklandon Road.
Just lots of good memories, lots of good memories. It's always fun to reminisce.
So Tam's Cafe has been open since August, and I talked to Cunningham, and she says they are prepared if there is another shutdown. She says they've already got their online ordering and pickup system in place, so that she says they hope that they can still make it through if we have another shutdown. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. The time now is 5:37, and state health officials say Indiana's hospitals are treating the largest number of patients since they began reporting numbers back in the spring. The state says there are more than 2,700 COVID hospitalizations as of Sunday. They also confirmed 5,218 new positive cases of the virus. That brings the state's total to more than 256,000. 26 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. The state health department also updated their report on the number of school cases, showing the total at more than 8,200 students statewide. Indiana State House leaders say supporting schools and helping students catch up will be a top priority in the upcoming 2021 session. Today, lawmakers will begin the first formal steps towards starting with the session with, of course, what they call Organization Day. The Indiana State Teachers Association has announced that what they hope to see change. We have more of that coming up in our next half hour.
It is 5:38 this morning. Pfizer is making progress towards distribution of its COVID vaccine. They're planning to test distribution in 4 states. Preliminary data shows the experimental vaccine is more than 90% effective. However, distributing it could be more of a challenge. The vaccine must be stored at temperature lower than what a standard freezer can do. It also requires 2 doses spread out 3 weeks apart to be effective. The states Pfizer is choosing for the testing are Rhode Island, Texas, New Mexico, and Tennessee due to their different differences in size, diversity, and immunization infrastructure. If the vaccine receives FDA approval, Pfizer will produce 100 million doses of it for the federal government at the price of $1.95 billion.
So putting this in perspective, Lauren, it will take months before a COVID-19 vaccine is widely available. There are people, of course, nationwide who have a problem with taking the vaccines, which is known as vaccine hesitancy. Some view the measures to mitigate the effects of the pandemic as political. Others are skeptical about the first rounds of the vaccine and the potential side effects, as well as how effective they will be. We spoke to a professor at IUPUI who specializes in health and medical communication. She says that people will need to ask questions of their medical professionals and take an active part in managing their health.
And I think it's incredibly important that people spend time educating themselves about this virus, about how it works, about how we prevent spreading it, and that they make sure that they are relying on credible sources. So our local news, the CDC, the Indiana Immunization Coalition will be an important place for people to find out information about the vaccine when it becomes available. The Indiana State Department of Health. So all of these really credible sources are important for us to spend time with and learn about this information so that we can make the best decisions for ourselves.
The doctor also tells us the effort behind the vaccination is to reach herd immunity. That's when enough people have built up antibodies to a virus and it's not spreadable in the population.
Well, right now there's a shortage of a different medical resource that's helping fight against COVID-19. Convalescent plasma donated by someone who's recovered from the virus can be used to treat current COVID-19 patients. Versity Blood Center Indiana is putting out a call for donations. Dr. Dan Waxman with Versity says that more people are getting hospitalized, and he's worried that they soon won't be able to provide this life-saving treatment to those who need it.
Something that we can only get from people who've had the infection. We can't create this in a laboratory. We can't get it in from a pharmaceutical company.
Well, for more information on how to donate plasma, you can go to our website, WRTV.com, and just click on this story. Let's get a check of our forecast for this Tuesday right now. Todd Clausen is standing by. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, all you need as you take to the roadways here this morning are the sunglasses, as we'll have sunshine from start to finish, and you'll definitely have to put the heater on in the car as you get going, as temperatures this morning are hovering right around the freezing mark, but we'll have plenty of sunshine. Just not a whole lot of warmth going on throughout the day today. We only get back up to right around 40 degrees for your afternoon high. So today's the coolest high temperature that I have in our forecast. Tomorrow morning is the coolest low temperature as we get down into the 20s. But once we get beyond tomorrow morning, you notice here on our graph, temperatures go back above normal as this warmth starts to build in for your Thursday and then eventually into your Friday. So just be patient here the next couple days as we still deal with below normal temperatures. But by the end of the week, we are in the 60s. More on that coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. A new bus making stops right here in Indianapolis. Coming up, we'll tell you how these buses are being used to serve the community during this pandemic. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV. It's all about working together. The Indianapolis community is continuing to find new ways to help their neighbors during this pandemic. So check this out. Inside, this 40-foot retired school bus is not a load of students, but instead a load of food. Pastor Tyrese Bowman is part of the team of people who during this pandemic saw their community struggling to get food and groceries. Right now, the buses serve as rolling food pantries, driving into the near northwest side of the city and Riverside neighborhoods, dropping off food for all for free.
The brainstorm with a few of our board members said, hey, what happens when, COVID surges and shuts down and there's no access to food and kids are stuck at home and our residents and seniors unable to get out?
After a soft launch last week, the pastor says the plan is to eventually hire a full team of staff to operate both of those buses.
At 5:46, holiday gatherings will be a lot smaller this year for many, and some parents might find it difficult to explain that to their kids. Mental health experts at Children's Hospital in Colorado says that parents should be direct about the importance of keeping loved ones safe and healthy. Encouraging kids to share their ideas for family gatherings could help them accept the changes. Also, make sure that children realize that a smaller gathering does not mean there's nothing worth celebrating. Doctors say it's important to empathize with children and also to remind them that these changes will not be forever. If you're considering a virtual Thanksgiving this year, Zoom is offering more time for you to connect with family and friends. The video conferencing company is getting rid of its 40-minute time limit for the holiday. Normally, Zoom times out and kicks people off after that. The unlimited time will apply globally starting on midnight November 26th, and it will last through 6 a.m. the next morning.
Overnight, a team of astronauts made it safely aboard the International Space Station. I hope you need to see this video. It's really fun. The 4-member group was on the SpaceX Crew Dragon for its first fully operational mission. They successfully docked at 11 last night and were greeted with hugs as they entered that space station. The mission to get them there took 27 hours. Check them out. The astronauts are set to spend about 6 months in space to conduct research. Now, NASA hopes this will be the first of many missions for a SpaceX craft to shuttle crews to the station. High fives to all. It's always great to see all that stuff going on in space, Todd.
Yeah, you know, I watched a launch, what was it, Sunday evening. It was a beautiful evening there in Florida, and about 27 hours. That's a long time, though, Raphael, to be sitting in that little capsule. But yeah, great to see you make it to the space station here in central Indiana. It's pretty quiet this morning. As you walk out the door, the temperature in Indy sits at 37 degrees. But here's the issue once again. The real field temperature, the wind chill, 28 is what it feels like. Winds out of the northwest at 16 miles per hour, and it's the wind direction that's the issue today. And it's a little breezy at 16 miles per hour, but as we work our way throughout the day, we are going to see the wind start to diminish. That is the good news. Other real field temperatures across the area: 28 in Lafayette, 34 in Bloomington, 33 in Muncie. 30 is the current real field temperature over in the Richmond area. So that's why you need to have the hat, you need to have the jacket, obviously, here throughout the course of the morning hours. But here are those wind speeds. And again, they'll start to diminish once we get into the afternoon hours. The thing that doesn't change, though, you see here, is the direction of this arrow. The winds will be out of the northwest. And whenever we have a northwesterly wind, it is really, really hard to try to moderate the temperatures, even with a lot of sunshine out there. So as we break it down for you hour by hour, look what happens. We don't have to talk about the sun. We have that throughout the entire day. But we're still only right around 35 degrees at 10 a.m. Then we get up to 39 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, with high temperatures today that only get up to right around 42 to 43 degrees in the cities. So it's a real chilly day for us. But again, the wind will start to calm as we get into the afternoon hours. Just missed out on a few snow showers, although a few flurries you see here drifting in off Lake Michigan could make their way into the Peru area, over into the Kokomo area as well, but it won't cause any issues on the roadways. And then back off to the west, we have clear skies, and that's the sunshine we enjoy not only today, but the coming days as well, as it's a very quiet weather pattern for us. Sunset 5:28 this evening. Temperatures quickly fall into the 30s this evening, and then overnight tonight going all the way down into the 20s. It's a really, really chilly day for us across the area to start tomorrow. Wind chills will likely be in the teens. Then throughout the day tomorrow, skies are mostly sunny once again. We start the warming trend. We're up to right around 50 degrees for your high temperature tomorrow, but the warmth really starts to build in during the day on Thursday as we get all the way up to 65 degrees. Look closely, though, at the text that I have here. Gusty winds. It's going to probably be 30, 40 mile per hour winds again during the day on Thursday. So that's the trade-off for the warmth. And then as we go into the weekend, a little more in the way of cloud cover, some showers possible on Sunday. But temperatures here, Lauren, will still be in the low to mid 60s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now to the south side. This is I-65 near Edgewood Avenue. It's just south of the ramp system at 465. You can see traffic there is picking up, traveling smoothly, both northbound and southbound. No delays to slow you down. Raphael?
So this year Santa is going digital, and that's a lot of good news for a lot of young kids. The Postal Service kicking off its Operation Santa already. The 108-year-old program fulfills the wish list for needy children and their families, and for the first time, would-be gift givers can adopt families online. The new system will allow more children in need across the country to be reached. Now, kids can address their letters and lists to, here's the address, very key, Santa at 123 Elf Road, of course, the North Pole, and the zip code is 88888. Keep that in mind. Please be good.
Yes, well, the next Black Panther movie won't include a digital double for Chadwick Boseman. An executive producer on the project reportedly told an Argentine newspaper, Clarín, that there's no replacing the actor. Boseman died in August at the age of 43, 4 years after he was diagnosed with cancer. He became a global icon with his role as King T'Challa in the boundary-breaking film Black Panther. A second Black Panther installment is slated for release in 2022. And a touching tribute being made in honor of late Jeopardy host Alex Trebek on Monday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen wore these custom-made Trebek cleats during last night's game against the Bears. The designer shared these images of them on Twitter. On one side of the shoe is Trebek with a halo, and the other is a blue Jeopardy box that reads, "We will miss you, Alex, $19,000. Thielen chose the number because it stems from his jersey number, which is number 19.
That's a nice tribute, indeed. A boy is doing his part to help those serving his community. Coming up, his project to help the men and women in blue, right here on WRTV. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. A 7-year-old in Elmira, New York, who loves police officers, raised $2,300 for them through a Facebook page called Thank You Officer, You Are Wonderful. What a great idea. Dakota Rinker used the money to make 114 goodie bags for local officers as well as firefighters, EMTs, and veterans. And this is not the first time he's made goodie bags for his favorite professionals. He's done it many times before. Elmira's police chief says that Dakota is a very special person. What a good guy in New York. And now to our good guy in Studio A, Todd Clausen. Good morning.
Yeah, Raphael, good morning to you. We're kicking off this Tuesday with temperatures that are on the cool side, but really not too abnormal for this time of year. 35 in Indy right now, 34 in Logansport, 35 in Lafayette. Radar is nice and quiet. That is the good news. It's going to be a sunny day for us from start to finish across the area. The sun will start to come up here and brighten the sky in just a little bit. But again, it's a cool start to our day all across the area. Now, going forward throughout the day today, all we can do for your high temperature is about 42 degrees. That keeps us below normal, but at least we have the sunshine. But there are warmer days ahead. We'll talk all about it coming up in your extended forecast when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.